Alright guys, so today we are going to be fixing a bent shock. It's from a traxxas Stampede, and all I needed was the shock shafts. The part number for those is 1664 for the front shocks. Alright, hope you're ready. The first step in this is going to be to remove the spring. To do that, you'll just compress it, take out the cap, pull the spring off to the side, and as you can see, it's pretty bent. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty bent. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Now you'll slide your top cap off and your preload spacer. From there, if you haven't already, you'll unscrew your shock tower cap, empty that out. As you can see, I already have. Now you'll take some pliers, grab onto the old shock shaft. Doesn't matter if you scratch the old one. Take something like an Allen key and unscrew this part, which is the rod end. Unscrew the bottom of the shock. Then you'll try and shove shock shaft through. Pull this out, which is the piston end and your bent shock shaft. Set your shock housing to the side. Now you're going to have to remove the two E-clips from the top and bottom of the piston. Normally you'd want to use like a pick. I don't have one on me right now. I'm not really wanting to go to the shed, so let's see if we can do it with this flathead screwdriver. You'll just gently pry. Okay, you got the first one off. Remove the piston. And now for the last little clip. Now that it's all taken apart, open up your part again. That's traxxas number 1664 for the shock shafts. These are the steel chrome finish, long. Again, this is for the front shocks. The ones for the rear will say extra long, and it's a different part number. But same process. So if you're following this video for the rears, don't worry. Just follow along. We only need one for this application. First step is to rebuild the piston. You're going to take your clips and one end of your shock shaft is threaded, the other has these two inlets on it. Take your clip, pop it onto the bottom one first. It can be a little tricky. Just take your time, you don't want to lose these. Okay, now that the bottom clip is on, take your piston, it's a little sticky because it's not cleaned off. It's a good idea to clean it off before you reinstall it with a paper towel. Alright, just plop it on. Take your second C-clip, put that over the top. Now that the top and the bottom clip are on, take your piston, shove it back through the shock housing. Oop. Now, this does happen sometimes. Be sure you reinstall that gasket. That'll prevent any leaking. You should be able to just use your fingernails there. Okay. Now, take your bottom cap, screw that back on. Take your rod in, thread that all the way on. And after your rod end is fully threaded back on, what you'll want to do, let's see here, take your spring, first your preload spacer, pop that back on. Your spring top, put that back on the correct orientation. Now your spring, compress it. Watch out for the rod, of course. Put your bottom end on, release the spring, and now she compresses much more smoother. Next step, personally what I use is Factory Team silicone shock oil. It's 30 weight, and for this step you'll just fill it up about halfway in that reservoir. Yeah, got a little more than halfway, but that's fine. And what we want to do is compress this a few times, just to make sure any air bubbles might get out. It's just for best practice. And make sure your diaphragm is in the cap. Thread your top back on, top cap, sorry. Having trouble speaking today, guys. Make sure that's nice and snug. Don't want that blowing apart on you. Give it a few more compresses, make sure everything feels smooth. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, day, whatever it is for you. Week, weekend, whatever. Thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe. And again, have a great day. Thank you. Goodbye.